What's going on, guys? It's Jeff. Back on some more Modern Warfare 2. Yeah, so as you guys know, Modern Warfare 2 has been a complete bloodbath. So alongside bleeding players, it's also bleeding like literal pro players and content creators now. On top of like multiple pro players quitting recently within this year, mid-season just straight up like, nah, I'm good. I don't want to play this competitively anymore. And this is already after like multiple years of like really not actually being listened to. It's just everything was always done off. You know how the way that I described like the rank mode? It just feels like even the effort towards like the content and the whole scene in general was just that kind of feeling. But these are pro players and longtime creators that were playing the game before VR even existed. They were hooked on the game and playing the game for years just through its multiplayer. Playing a whole lot, you obviously just get burnt out, you get used to it. Eventually over time you get tired of like the treatment and all this other stuff. But realistically, even if you're not somebody that even feels like entitled to be treated a certain way, the game just actively has felt like it's gotten more and more, it's been soulless though. I don't know how else to explain it. It's weird. It's almost always soulless. It was always like the default like multiplayer shooter. So it was like always like kind of the whole, like the medium of everything. It's not like there's some other game that came across and just like replaced it either. One of the most recent people that have quit playing, at least multiplayer anyway, Sprat in particular has quit playing multiplayer. If you're on my channel and you don't know who Sprat is, probably weren't around for like the whole sniping and montage era of things, but Sprat is a legend. So when you got people like him that have always played these games a disgusting amount, that have created content, some of the earliest people to even do some of this stuff, I don't know, it's odd. I feel like if I ever quit, it won't be a thing that's like this massive announcement where like I'll just abstain from Call of Duty altogether. I don't know. It'll just be a thing where I'll literally just be playing it less and less and less until eventually something else is just taking up more of my time. I didn't post Call of Duty for multiple months on multiple occasions. There's been plenty of low points for Call of Duty. Even though Call of Duty is my main thing, I'll just play something else. Now, on top of just playing something else, like I'll probably never completely quit. Call of Duty is going to be literally like my entire pastime. This game and everything that I have done on it has impacted my life more than almost anything else. People would ask me like, when am I gonna quit Call of Duty? I don't know what it is, but like, everything is just a baseline for me. Like, there's only so low that I can go on this. You know how some people are like, oh, I just want to avoid burnout? Do people know what's on the other side of burnout? Invincibility. Everything becomes baseline. The more you do it, the more it just becomes baseline. I'm not saying that's a healthy way to approach things or anything like that, but right now, enjoying myself. Because this is automatic for me, and this whole process of making this video, this is what makes my day fun. I love it. It really doesn't have anything to do with how special Call of Duty is or whatever. Like, I understand that there's nothing really like it or whatever, but I recognize that it's not that high of a quality. Does that make sense? Even myself as a person, I would openly admit if I could have one meal before I knew I was going to die, I would probably pick a low quality meal. It tastes the best to me. My entire life, I have consumed low quality trash. I'm just accustomed to it. So much so to the point to where the quote good stuff isn't really that great to me. I'm gonna regret pulling out that full auto right there. I just need to finish one more sniper rifle and then I can just go full auto the rest of the way and the lobbies will be whatever they are. Yeah, basically like this game just scratches a particular itch for me, and that particular itch is very personal to me. It doesn't even need to be objectively considered anything. For me, this game puts me at peace. This game is literally my safe space. And as you guys know, I don't like leaving these safe spaces, which is why you see thousands of Call of Duty videos, still hundreds of other videos, but thousands of Call of Duty videos. The same way with food. Even if I know that like certain food is considered low quality and all this other stuff, like for me, it's like a part of me. I don't know how else to explain that. I understand that like a certain food could be cooked or made at a better, higher quality or something like that. But for me, it just doesn't always taste better. That's just the truth. Also, I know that I'm gonna hurt a lot of people's feelings with this, but a lot of people's like cookings and all this other stuff, I have to be really nice, but at most, the best cooking I have ever had at somebody else's house was like a 6 out of 10. And these are like dishes that I actually like. And that's not an insult to them. I'm not saying that they can't cook. What I'm saying is there's a certain thing that you get accustomed to that starts tasting better to you. Someone could be a better cook than somebody else, but that doesn't mean that the dish will be better. There's a lot of nuance that apparently changes your taste buds as well. And the SPX is much better than the, what was it, LAB or whatever I was using. SPX is much faster. I'm comfortable here. I'm good at this. I don't need to be the best. I'm comfortable enough and have done it long enough to be just satisfied with where I am doing it, how I do it. The comfort has more value than anything else, and I'm not ashamed of. Yeah, so the Super Bowl is tomorrow. Obviously, I'm pulling for the Eagles, but my prediction, I think it's gonna be Eagles by blowout. If it's not Eagles by a blowout, it's gonna be the Chiefs by a blowout. I don't think this game is gonna be close, no matter who wins. Either the Eagles are gonna win like 41 to like 14, or the Chiefs are gonna win like 41 to 14. I don't know why 41, just 40 plus points. Lots of scoring. But the Eagles are more well-rounded. More people are thinking that the Eagles will win, but they have the MVP Patrick Mahomes, and they are literally a dynasty. Also, UFC event tonight, Islam Makhachev versus is Alexander Volkanovski. Number 1 pound for pound versus number 2 pound for pound. Volkanovski is coming up from 145 pounds to 155 pounds, which means he is undersized in this fight. He's number 1 pound for pound, but he's coming up against the number 2 pound for pound, so he's got the odds stacked against him. He also has the odds stacked against him in terms of the style of the fight. One of the ways that you would think to beat Volkanovski would be to try to wrestle and control him and just not even deal with his stand-up. There have been some people that have attempted it, but clearly being number 1 pound for pound, not many people have been very successful. Volk has been very, very good, very intelligent, and I would say that his fight IQ is probably higher. I think he does have some advantages. He's got speed, all this stuff. But in a situation where your weakness is wrestling, and wrestling also benefits from having size and strength advantages, you can just be not as good, but because you're bigger and stronger, you can get away with it. The thing is, Makhachev is very talented. He has ragdolled people bigger than Volk. My brain is screaming that Makhachev is just gonna win. It'll probably be like round 2, round 3. I'll be very surprised if Islam literally just runs him over, though. I don't think that Makhachev would be able to just take him down and then submit him instantly. I think Volk would be able to get back up. I think he would be able to make it more interesting than people are making it seem. I think the fight is closer than people think, but Makhachev has every reason to win this fight. Has so much more to lose than Volk does. That being said, my heart wants it to be Volk, just because it's like the little engine that could. Like, it would be such a crazy thing. And the boring answer is, yeah, Makhachev just goes over there, takes him down, puts him in an arm triangle, and, you know, it is what it is. But my heart wants the fight to be a thing where Volk actually is managing to keep it on the feet, is able to actually stuff takedowns, or manage to at least get back to his feet at least a few times. Manage to command some respect in the stand-up from Islam. Let's see where the power is, because Islam is, people aren't talking about it, but Islam has knockout power. He hits hard. Volk hits hard as well, though, so I want to see how they react to each other's power. The thing is, other 155ers, when they're hit by Islam, Charles, even when he was blocking, I watched their fight back, even when he blocked Islam's shots, his whole body moved. So I just want to see how Volk deals with that. And also, Volk being shorter, it could make it harder for Islam to take him down and all that. But at the same time, if Volk is shorter and he darts in and out, he could just run into a knee and just get knocked out instantly, with Islam just throwing knees up the middle. Islam's kicks and knees are his strong point in the stand-up. I would say his boxing isn't as good, in my opinion, and that's where I think Volk will excel in terms of the stand-up. So I think Islam will throw a lot more kicks, whereas Volk usually throws a lot of kicks, but I don't know if that's a good idea. Again, it's just a bad matchup for him. I want Volk to win, though. I just don't think he will. There are other fights on here as well. I'll just run them through real quick. Rodriguez versus Emmett. I'm gonna go with Emmett, but I don't know. Emmett looks super drained at the weigh-ins, like really, really drained. So I don't know. He had a poker face on, but he literally was a skeleton. It was crazy. The picture of him in the interview after the weigh-in, crazy. I think Yair Rodriguez is a really, really fun fighter, really dangerous fighter, but I feel like Emmett has just more ways to win. So I feel like he'll win, probably get the title shot against Volk. Whether Volk wins or loses, Volk will come back down to 145, defend it against him, probably pretty handedly. Whoever wins this fight will be next for Volk. So Jack Della Maddalena versus Randy Brown. A lot of people are saying Maddalena, but I actually think that Randy Brown can win that. He's really dangerous. And then the rest of the fights, there's like a lot of lesser known people, but honestly, a lot of these cards where there's a lot of lesser known people, or a lot of people that don't consider the card as being, quote, stacked, sometimes ends up being a really good card. So I'll watch them all. But I mean, yeah, I'm not quitting COD. I'll post other things. I've been posting other things whenever I feel like it, though. There's been lower points than this, much lower. Everyone was just used to the highs.